Hey guys, and welcome back. Tonight, we journey into the world of the medieval noblewoman. A world we often picture as one of romance, elegance, and fairy tale castles. But beneath the silk gowns and the towering headdresses was a reality of pain, poison, and a constant, stressful battle to meet some of history's most bizarre and dangerous beauty standards. You think your modern beauty routine is demanding? Tonight, we will see why you wouldn't survive a single day of theirs. So, before we apply the first layer of lead paint, take a moment to like the video and subscribe if you enjoy these quiet journeys into the past. As always, it is a pleasure to see where you are all listening from, so let me know in the comments. Alright, find a comfortable spot, let the world outside fade away, and let us step back in time. You awaken slowly, not to the light of the sun, but to a muffled sound from a world away. It is the sound of a heavy wooden door creaking open and then closing with a soft thud. It is the sound of your maids entering your bedchamber, their movements hushed and respectful. But it is an intrusion nonetheless. You lie perfectly still in the warm, dark, and stuffy cocoon of your great curtained bed, your eyes still closed, clinging to the last moments of oblivion. The air inside your fabric fortress is thick and warm, heavy with the scent of your own sleep and the lavender that is sewn into your linen pillows. But your first conscious thought is not of comfort. It is a jolt of pure, cold anxiety that cuts through the fog of sleep. Today is the day. Today, the Baron arrives. He is a man you have never met. A powerful, landed nobleman whose name has been spoken in hushed, strategic tones by your father for months. He is coming to inspect the castle, to discuss alliances, and, though it is never said aloud, he is coming to inspect you. You are not a daughter today. You are a political asset, a piece on the great board of marriage alliances. Your entire future, the fate of your family's status, hinges on the impression you make. And in this world, for a woman, that impression is forged almost entirely by your appearance. The pressure of it settles on you before your feet have even touched the floor. You hear the soft scrape of the iron rings on the wooden rod. One of your maids, her movements practiced and silent, is drawing back the heavy velvet curtain of your bed. The two worlds collide. The warm, humid, human air of your cocoon rushes out, and the cold, damp, and brutally honest air of the stone chamber rushes in. It is a physical shock. The cold hits your bare arms and face, and you instinctively pull the heavy fur coverlet up to your chin, your body recoiling. The day has begun. There is no escaping it. You sit up, swinging your legs out of the bed. The maids are already moving with a quiet efficiency. One is tending to the fire in the hearth, her bellows whispering life back into the embers. The other, a young girl named Isabel, approaches you with the first tools of your morning ritual, a heavy pewter basin and a silver ewer filled with water. This is not a luxurious bath. That is a rare and complicated affair reserved for special occasions. This is the daily ablution, a functional and deeply uncomfortable process. Isabel pours the water into the basin. It is not heated. To heat enough water for every noble in the castle every morning would be a logistical nightmare, a waste of precious firewood. The water is ice cold, drawn an hour ago from the castle well, and it has been sitting in the freezing chamber, growing even colder. You can see a few wilted rose petals floating on its surface, a meager and almost mocking attempt to lend a touch of gentility to the harsh reality. You lean over the basin, you cup your hands, fill them with the shockingly cold water, and bring them to your face. The cold is a violent, breathless shock. It makes the muscles in your jaw tighten and sends a shiver through your entire body. You do this again and again, scrubbing the sweep from your eyes with a force that is less about cleansing and more about enduring. Next comes the soap. Isabel presents it to you. It is not a fragrant, gentle bar. It is a hard, greasy, yellowish block made from rendered animal fat and lye, with a harsh, chemical smell that clings to the skin. You lather it in your hands. It produces not a soft foam, but a thin, slippery film. You scrub your face and neck with it, its abrasive texture scraping at your skin. Its purpose is not to pamper, but to strip away the grime and oils of the night as efficiently as possible. You rinse with more of the icy water, the cold now a deep aching presence in your bones. A maid hands you a towel. It is not a soft, welcoming thing. It is a length of coarse, homespun linen, its texture like fine sandpaper. You dry your face, the rough fabric leaving your skin red, raw, and stinging, but undeniably clean. You stand there for a moment in your thin linen chemise, shivering in the cold air, your face a tight, scrubbed mask. You are a blank canvas, an imperfect canvas. You are keenly aware of the small blemish on your chin, the faint freckles on your nose from a moment of carelessness in the summer sun last year. These are the flaws that must be erased. These are the enemy. Your maids now turn to a small wooden table where an array of pots, vials, and brushes are laid out. The true work of the morning is about to begin. It is the work of construction. It is the painstaking and poisonous process of building your face. The ordeal has just begun. You sit on a low, carved wooden stool before a small table. Upon it rests your mirror. It is not a clear, perfect sheet of glass, but a small, hand-sized disc of polished bronze. Its surface slightly convex, its reflection a dark, warped, and mysterious version of the world. It does not show you the truth. It shows you an impression, a shadow of yourself. Today, that is all you need. The young maid, Isabel, stands beside you, her hands now occupied with a collection of small ceramic pots, brushes made of animal hair, and vials of colored powder. Your face, still tingling and raw from the harsh washing, is a blank, imperfect canvas. The work of construction is about to begin. The foundation of all beauty, the single non-negotiable principle upon which your entire value as a noblewoman is judged, is the purity of your complexion. It must be white. Not the healthy, rosy-cheeked white of a milkmaid, but a flawless, luminous, and almost supernatural pallor. This is not a mere aesthetic preference. It is the most powerful and important symbol of your status. A white face is a testament to a life lived in leisure, a life spent entirely indoors, shielded from the brutal browning rays of the sun. It is a declaration, painted upon your very skin, that you do not labor. You do not till the fields. You do not tend the livestock. You do not work with your hands. A tanned, sun-kissed complexion is the mark of the peasant, the brand of the lower classes. Your whiteness is your nobility made visible. It is the uniform of your rank, the banner of your family's power, and to present a face that is anything less than perfectly, immaculately pale before a potential suitor of the barren stature would be a social catastrophe, a deep and lasting shame upon your house. You understand this. You have understood it since you were a little girl, watching your own mother perform this same solemn ritual. And so, you sit perfectly still as Isabel begins the process of creating that purity. She does not open a simple jar of powder. The cosmetic must first be prepared. She takes a small, heavy, chalky white disc from a silk-lined box. This is the Venetian ceruse, the finest and most expensive skin whitener in all of Christendom, brought by traders from the great workshops of Italy. It is your family's most precious cosmetic, and it is made of pure, powdered white lead. Isabel uses a small silver knife to scrape a measure of the white powder from the disc into a ceramic bowl. Then, she adds a few drops of white wine vinegar. the air is immediately filled with the sharp, acidic scent of the vinegar, a smell that makes your nose wrinkle. With a small brush, she mixes the powder and the liquid together, her movements slow and practiced, until it forms a thick, smooth, and brilliantly white paste. It has the consistency of cream, but you know it is far heavier. "My lady," she says softly, a signal for you to close your eyes. You obey. You feel the first touch of the application. The maid uses a small, soft piece of fine leather, dipped into the paste, to apply the first layer. The sensation is a shock. The ceruse is cold and wet, and it feels unnervingly heavy on your skin. The sharp smell of the vinegar is overpowering. She works with a painter's precision, applying the paste to your face, your neck, and the exposed skin of your upper chest. This is the first layer, the primer, designed to fill the pores and create a smooth surface. Then she begins to build the mask. She applies more and more of the white paste, layer upon layer, smoothing it out with her fingertips, working it into every crease and corner of your face. You can feel the layer growing thicker, heavier. The small blemish on your chin disappears. The faint freckles on your nose are obliterated. Every flaw, every trace of your natural, living skin color is systematically erased beneath a thick, opaque blanket of pure chemical white. As the paste begins to dry, a new and deeply unpleasant sensation begins. It tightens. The lead-based mask dries into a hard, inflexible shell. You can feel it pulling at the delicate skin around your eyes and at the corners of your mouth. It feels like your own face is turning to porcelain. You know from experience that you must now limit your facial expressions. To smile too widely, to laugh with genuine joy, would be to risk cracking the perfect, smooth, white surface you have painstakingly created. You are being transformed into a living statue. Your face a serene, beautiful, and utterly immobile mask of nobility. You know, in the way that all women of the court know, that this beautiful mask is a dangerous lie. You have heard the whispers. You have seen the older ladies, those who have worn the ceruse every day for 20 years. You have seen the way their real skin, on the rare occasions it is visible, is a ruined landscape of scars, pits, and blackish blemishes, the lead having eaten away at their flesh. You have heard the stories of women who suffered from the Saturnine palsy, a strange affliction that made their hands tremble and their minds wander. You know of the constant headaches, the loss of hair, the rotting of the teeth that seems to afflict so many of the court's great beauties. You know this substance is a poison. You can feel its dead chemical weight on your skin, but you push the fear away with the discipline of a soldier. The risk of a slow, creeping illness in the far-off future is a vague and distant threat. The risk of appearing before the Baron today with a ruddy, imperfect complexion is a sharp, immediate, and socially fatal one. You will not shame your family. You will not jeopardize your future. You accept the poison as the price of your position. Isabel is finished. She holds up the polished bronze mirror. The reflection is dim and warped, but the result is clear. The red-faced, shivering girl, who was here just moments ago, is gone. In her place is the serene, unnaturally white, and perfectly composed face of a noblewoman. The canvas is prepared. You are beautiful, and you are toxic. Your face is now a perfect, luminous, and poisonous white mask. But the canvas, while primed, is not yet the correct shape. The second great principle of beauty, the ideal that separates the noble from the common, is the shape of your brow. A woman's face, to be considered truly beautiful, must be a perfect, serene oval, like an egg. It must speak of intelligence, piety, and a calm, philosophical nature. And the key to this ideal, the central focus of all courtly aesthetics, is the forehead. It must be high, wide, smooth, and completely bare. A low hairline, the kind you were born with, is considered a sign of a base, animalistic nature. Eyebrows are seen as ugly, brutish things, vulgar interruptions in the smooth, placid landscape of the face. They are features of peasants who toil in the sun and do not have the time nor the breeding to cultivate the proper look of serene detachment. To be beautiful is to be plucked. To be noble is to be bare. And so, the next phase of your morning ritual begins. It is the phase of pain. You sit stiffly on the stool, your hands clasped in your lap to keep them from trembling as your senior maid, Elsbeth, steps forward. She is an older woman, and her hands are practiced and steady, for which you are grateful. The tools for this part of the process are laid out on a clean linen cloth beside you. There are no mysterious potions here, only simple, brutal instruments. A small bowl of a thick, grayish paste that smells of caustic lye, and a pair of bronze tweezers, their tips sharpened to a fine point. Elsbeth begins by tying your hair back with a tight linen band, pulling it so taut that the skin of your scalp tingles. She exposes your natural hairline, the soft, fine hairs that grow at the top of your forehead. This is the first line to be eradicated. She does not use the tweezers for this. That would take too long. Instead, she dabs the caustic paste, a primitive depilatory made of quicklime and arsenic, along the edge of your hairline. It stings, a low, persistent chemical burn, and you must sit perfectly still, your eyes closed, as the paste does its foul work, eating away at the roots of the unwanted hair. After a few minutes that feel like an eternity, she wipes the paste away with a damp cloth. A swath of your hairline, a full inch wide, is now red, raw, and completely bare. The first stage is complete. Now comes the more intimate, painstaking work. Elsbeth picks up the bronze tweezers. "My lady," she says softly. A quiet warning. You brace yourself. She leans in close, her face a mask of intense concentration, and she begins to pluck your eyebrows, one hair at a time. The first pluck is a sharp, searing shock of pain. Your eyes water instantly, a hot, involuntary tear tracing a path down your lead-painted cheek. You do not flinch. You do not make a sound. To show pain would be a sign of poor breeding. You stare at a point on the stone wall opposite you, disassociating your mind from your body, trying to float away from the small, sharp, repetitive agony that is happening to your own face. Pluck. A tiny, fiery sting. You think of the Baron. You think of the way his eyes will appraise you. A high, bare brow is the mark of a virtuous and intelligent woman. The pain is a small price to pay for your family's honor. Pluck. Another jolt of pain. You think of the other ladies at court, their own foreheads impossibly high and smooth. You know they endure this same ritual every morning. It is a shared, unspoken sisterhood of suffering. To have eyebrows would be to mark yourself as slovenly, as common. Pluck, pluck, pluck. Elsbeth works with a relentless, efficient rhythm. The pain loses its sharpness and becomes a dull, throbbing ache across your entire brow. You can feel the skin becoming hot, swollen and inflamed. After a seeming eternity, she finishes with one eyebrow and moves to the other. The process begins anew. The final and most terrifying part of the ritual is the eyelashes. While some ladies are content to merely thin them, the height of fashion, the truest mark of an aristocratic face, is to remove them entirely. It is a statement of absolute commitment to the ideal of a wide, placid, and serene gaze. Elsbeth's hands are steady. Isabel, the younger maid, is tasked with holding your eyelid taut. You stare, frozen, as the sharp metal tips of the tweezers approach your eye. You force yourself not to blink. The first pluck, from the very edge of your eyelid, is a moment of pure, blinding agony. It is a pain so sharp and so intimate, it feels like a violation of your very soul. But you endure it. One by one, the tiny protective hairs that frame your eyes are ripped away, leaving behind a red, swollen, and completely bare rim. When she is finished, your work is done. You are left trembling, your entire upper face a landscape of raw, throbbing pain. You have achieved the ideal shape, but the immediate result is a puffy, red, and irritated mess. Elsbeth now takes a small bowl of soothing balm, a paste of almond oil and rosewater, and gently dabs it onto the inflamed skin of your new, vast forehead. The cool balm is a small mercy, but it can do little to quell the deep, burning ache. You take the bronze mirror. The warped reflection shows you a strange, alien creature. The woman looking back has a vast, domed, and unnervingly blank forehead that seems to take up half her face. Her eyes, now bare and unprotected, look huge and startled. You look like a newborn bird, a creature too pure and too vulnerable for this world. It is the pinnacle of beauty. You have sculpted your own flesh through pain to meet the demands of your station. You have paid your morning tribute to the cruel god of fashion, and the day, with its many other trials, has only just begun. Here is the next part of the story, as planned. You sit before the polished bronze mirror, a strange and alien creature of your own making. The painful work of the tweezers is done. Your face is now a vast, high, and unnervingly blank canvas of white lead. Your forehead a smooth, swollen dome. Your eyes large and bare without the frame of their lashes. You are a perfect, pale, and placid effigy of nobility. But you are incomplete. A face of pure, unbroken white is the face of a corpse, a ghost. To be beautiful, to be seen as a creature of life and virtue, you must now add a touch of color. But this color is not the robust, ruddy glow of a healthy peasant who has spent her life in the sun and wind. Such a look would be considered vulgar, a sign of a coarse and common nature. No, the color of a noblewoman is a different thing entirely. It must be a deliberate, artificial, and perfectly controlled touch of red, a stark and dramatic contrast to the corpse-like purity of your white skin. A faint, maidenly blush on the cheeks signifies modesty and virtue. A pair of perfectly painted crimson lips signifies allure, but an allure that is restrained, artistic, and entirely under your control. Color is not a sign of health. It is a sign of artistry and wealth. Your maids, Elsbeth and Isabel, now turn to a different set of pots on the table. This is their palette, a collection of the reds that will bring your mask to life. Elsbeth opens a small, carved wooden pot. Inside is a deep red, waxy paste. This is the safe color. It is made from the root of the madder plant, or sometimes from sandalwood, ground to a fine powder and mixed with beeswax and mutton fat. It has a faint, earthy, almost sweet smell. This is what you use for your cheeks. It produces a soft, believable blush, the color of piety. But for your lips, and for an occasion as important as the arrival of the Baron, a simple vegetable rouge will not do. You need something more vibrant, more shocking, more expensive. You need a color that speaks of power. You give a small, almost imperceptible nod to Isabel. She understands. She opens a small, heavy stone pot, one that is kept separate from the others. Inside is a powder of a red so brilliant, so impossibly vibrant, it seems to glow with a light of its own in the dim chamber. It is a pure, dazzling scarlet. This is vermilion. You know what it is. It is made from cinnabar, a mineral of mercury, a substance used by alchemists in their strange and secret work. You know it is a poison. The priests warn of its use, and the whispers among the court ladies are a litany of its dangers, of how it can make the teeth loosen and the gums bleed, of how it can eat away at the very flesh it is meant to beautify. But you also know that its color is unmatched. It is the same pigment used by the monks in the scriptorium to illuminate the most sacred words in the Holy Bible. To paint your lips with vermilion is to turn your own mouth into a holy text. It is a declaration of status so profound that the risks become a secondary concern. Today, you must be a work of art, and art requires the finest, most dangerous pigments. A ritual of color begins. Elsbeth takes a small, soft piece of rabbit fur, dips it into the waxy madder root rouge, and begins to apply it to your cheeks. Her touch is light, her movements precise. She does not blend it to create a natural flush. She applies it as a perfect, distinct circle high on your cheekbone, directly over the mask of white lead. The result is the look of a beautiful, delicate, and entirely artificial doll. It is the very height of fashion. Now for the lips. This is the most dangerous part of the entire routine, requiring a steady hand and your own absolute stillness. Isabel takes a tiny, almost infinitesimal pinch of the brilliant vermilion powder and mixes it with a small amount of beeswax in a separate bowl, creating a stiff, gritty, scarlet paste. She takes up a tiny, fine-tipped brush made from the hairs of a stoat's tail. "My lady," she whispers. You part your lips slightly and hold perfectly still. She leans in, her own face a mask of concentration, and begins to paint. The brush is soft, but the paste it carries is gritty. You can feel the tiny, sharp-edged particles of the mineral against the delicate skin of your lips. A faint, metallic taste, a taste like old blood and coins, fills your mouth. You must not lick your lips. You must not swallow. You know that every particle of this beautiful red dust that you might accidentally ingest is a small dose of poison, a down payment on a future of sickness and decay. But you push the thought away. You think of the Baron. You think of the way his eyes will be drawn to the shocking, vibrant slash of red on your otherwise pure white face. Isabel works with the painstaking precision of an illuminator coloring a manuscript. She carefully outlines the shape of your mouth, making your lips appear smaller, more perfectly bowed, a cupid's bow of brilliant, deadly crimson. Then she fills it in. When she is done, she pulls back. You are permitted to look in the mirror again. The transformation is breathtaking. The pale, swollen, and almost featureless face from before is now a work of art. The perfect white canvas is now punctuated by two modest circles of pink and a single, shocking, and impossibly beautiful slash of red. The colors are not natural. They are not meant to be. They are a declaration. They declare your purity, your modesty, and your immense, untouchable status. You are a painted idol, a holy and untouchable thing. You have layered poison upon poison, beauty upon beauty. The construction of your face is complete. And now, this dangerous masterpiece must be framed. Your face is complete. It is a perfect, beautiful, and deadly work of art. But a masterpiece is diminished without the proper frame. And in the medieval court, a woman's hair is not a feature to be displayed, but a wild, dangerous thing that must be tamed, caged, and hidden. To appear in public with your hair flowing freely would be an act of shocking immodesty, a sign of a loose and wanton nature. Hair, the priests say, is a woman's vanity, a snare for the souls of men. It must be bound, controlled, and concealed beneath the towering symbols of your noble status. The next phase of your transformation is one of architectural construction. You are to become a living sculpture, and your head is the foundation upon which a great tower will be built. Elsbeth, the senior maid, steps forward. The tools for this task are not pots of poison, but dozens of long, sharp-looking pins made of bone and bronze, and several lengths of strong linen ribbon. Your hair, which was washed yesterday with a harsh lye soap and rinsed with wine to make it shine, is long, thick, and heavy. It is your one true natural vanity. And now, it must be systematically erased from the world. The process begins with a vigorous brushing. Elsbeth uses a brush made of stiff boar bristles, pulling it through your long hair with a force that makes your scalp tingle and your eyes water. The goal is not just to remove the tangles, but to smooth the hair into a single, uniform mass, devoid of individual character or curl. Then the caging begins. She parts your hair in the center and divides it into two thick sections. Each section is then meticulously plaited into a long, tight braid. Elsbeth's fingers are a blur of practiced motion, her knuckles pulling the hair so taut at the roots that you feel a sharp, persistent ache spreading across your entire scalp. The braids must be as tight as possible, a symbol of your own tightly controlled virtue. But these braids are not to be left hanging. That would be far too provocative. They are the foundations for the structure to come. Elsbeth takes the two long, heavy braids and coils them over your ears, creating two tight, hard buns that press against the sides of your head. She is not just styling your hair. She is creating two solid anchor points. She then begins the process of pinning them in place. She drives the long, sharp bone pins through the coiled braids and into the hair beneath, her movements quick and efficient. You feel a series of sharp stabbing pains as the pins find your scalp. You do not flinch. This is a familiar pain, a necessary part of the daily construction. When she is finished, your head feels unnaturally heavy, bound and constricted. Your hair, once a soft and flowing thing, is now a tight, hard, and painful helmet of your own making. It is completely immobilized, but it is not yet hidden. Now comes the final, crowning glory. Isabel steps forward, her hands holding the object with a reverence usually reserved for a holy relic. It is the hennin. It is a magnificent, absurd, and beautiful thing. It is a tall, conical hat, shaped like a steeple, that rises a full 2 feet above your head. It is constructed from a stiffened linen buckram, covered in a rich, dark blue velvet that matches your gown. A long, gossamer thin veil of fine, almost transparent silk is attached to its peak, designed to float behind you as you walk, a ghostly banner of your nobility. To wear the hennin is the ultimate statement of status. Its height is a direct, visual representation of your rank. A merchant's wife might be permitted a modest headdress, but only a lady of your high birth is allowed to wear a tower of this magnitude. It is a symbol of your power, and it is a cage. Elsbeth takes the hennin and, with great care, she places it on your head. The base of the great cone is designed to fit snugly over the 2 coiled braids you have so painfully constructed. She then takes a series of long bronze pins, and with a terrifying precision, she drives them through the base of the hennin, through your coiled braids, and deep into the hair beneath, anchoring the great tower firmly to your skull. The final pins feel as though they are being driven directly into your bone. The weight is immediate and immense. It is not just the weight of the velvet and the buckram. It is the leverage of the great cone. You can feel the strain in the muscles of your neck and shoulders as they work to keep the tower balanced. You must now hold your head perfectly still, your posture ramrod straight. To tilt your head too quickly, to make a sudden movement, would be to risk sending the entire magnificent structure toppling to the floor in a moment of utter public humiliation. You are now a walking sculpture. You must move with a slow, deliberate, and almost inhuman grace. You will have to turn your entire body to look at someone. You will have to duck to pass through doorways. The hennin is a constant, heavy, and precarious reminder of your high status. It is a beautiful, desirable, and utterly exhausting prison for your head. The frame is now complete. Your face is a poisonous mask of beauty. Your hair is a painful hidden cage, and your head is crowned with a magnificent, precarious tower. You are ready to be dressed. Your head is a masterpiece of pain and architecture. The skin of your forehead is a raw, tender landscape. Your scalp aches from the tightly coiled braids, and the towering 2-foot-tall henna that is pinned and anchored to your skull is a constant, precarious weight that strains the muscles in your neck. You are a walking sculpture from the neck up, a serene and beautiful effigy. But a head cannot be presented on its own. Now, the body must be encased, armored, and transformed into a vessel worthy of the art that it carries. You stand in the center of the chamber, shivering in your thin linen chemise, as your maids, Elsbeth and Isabel, turn their attention from the small table of cosmetics to the great wooden chest that contains your gowns. The process of dressing is not a simple act of putting on clothes. It is a complex, multi-layered construction, a ritual that will encase you in the very fabric of your noble status. First come the underpinnings. Isabel helps you pull on your hose, long stockings of fine, soft wool dyed a deep red. They reach all the way up your thighs, where they are held in place by garters of embroidered silk, tied in a firm knot. This is the last layer of clothing that is purely for warmth and modesty. Everything that comes after serves a different, more demanding master: fashion. Next is the kirtle. It is the primary structural garment, the corset of its day, designed to mold your soft, female form into the rigid, idealized silhouette demanded by the court. Elsbeth and Isabel bring it forward. It is a long gown of sturdy, dark blue wool, simple but perfectly tailored. You slip your arms into the sleeves, and they pull it down over your body. The sleeves are the first cage. They are incredibly tight, fitting your arms like a second skin, from shoulder to wrist. You must hold your arms out as the maids painstakingly fasten the long row of more than 20 small silver buttons that runs from your elbow to your knuckles, a task that takes a full 5 minutes of fiddling and pulling. Your arms are now locked in tight tubes of wool. But the true torment is in the torso. You turn, presenting your back to Elsbeth. The back of the kirtle is open, held together by a long cord of braided linen, threaded through a series of eyelets. Elsbeth takes the two ends of the cord, places her foot on your lower back for leverage, and pulls. The breath is dritting from your lungs in a sharp, involuntary gasp. The sensation is one of being crushed. She pulls again, her movement strong and efficient, cinching the kirtle tighter and tighter, compressing your ribs, forcing your waist into an impossibly narrow shape, and pushing your bust upwards. It is a slow, methodical act of bodily reshaping. You cannot breathe deeply. You can only take small, shallow, bird-like sips of air. This is the desired effect. A lady does not gulp air like a common field hand. She breathes with a delicate, restrained grace, a grace enforced by the tyranny of the laces. The kirtle is now a rigid, woolen cage around your torso and arms. It dictates your posture, forcing you to stand impossibly straight. It dictates your breathing. It is the foundation of your noble shape. Now comes the final, magnificent layer, the houppelande. This is the garment of pure spectacle. The maids lift it from the chest, and it is a river of fabric. It is made of a deep midnight blue silk velvet, a material so rich and so impossibly expensive that its very presence in the room is a shout of your father's wealth. The velvet is so dense, it seems to drink the firelight, and it is embroidered with a repeating pattern of golden suns, each one sewn with real gold thread. Getting into the gown is a struggle. It is immensely heavy. You step into it, and the maids lift the great weight of it onto your shoulders. The gown is voluminous, falling from a high waistline just below your bust in a great cascade of fabric that pools on the floor around your feet. But its most dramatic features are the sleeves. They are enormous, open-ended cones of fabric lined with the soft white fur of ermine that hang almost to the floor. They are utterly, magnificently impractical. They will drag on the floor. They will get caught on furniture. They will make it impossible for you to feed yourself without assistance. And that is their entire purpose. They are a declaration that you are a woman who does not need the use of her hands. You are a creature of pure, helpless elegance. A heavy gilded belt, decorated with enamel plaques, is buckled high on your waist, just under your bust, completing the fashionable silhouette. A heavy gold necklace is placed around your neck. Rings are slid onto your fingers. Each addition is another ounce of weight, another layer in your beautiful gilded prison. The construction is complete. You stand now, a glittering, almost completely immobilized figure. You are less a person and more a walking, breathing display of your family's power, wealth, and status. You take a single shallow breath, and the tight lacing of the kirtle and the immense weight of the velvet hoppeland are a constant, crushing reminder of your role. You turn to the polished bronze mirror. The dark, warped reflection shows you a tall, slender, and impossibly elegant figure, crowned with a magnificent tower, draped in a river of blue and gold. You look serene. You look powerful. You look beautiful. You do not recognize yourself at all. You stand now, a fully constructed monument to nobility. Your face is a perfect, poisonous mask of white, red, and plucked purity. Your hair is a hidden, painful cage, crowned with a magnificent and precarious tower of velvet. Your body is a rigid, architectural form, encased in layers of linen, wool, and heavy, brocaded silk. You are a visual masterpiece, a silent testament to your father's wealth and your own virtuous endurance. But the performance is not yet complete. A noblewoman must not just be seen, she must be smelled. The final, invisible layer of your armor must now be applied. The scent. In the world you inhabit, this is not a matter of simple pleasure. It is a matter of strategic defense. You live in a world of powerful, ever-present odors. The Great Hall, for all its grandeur, carries the constant underlying smell of the hounds that sleep by the fire, the greasy aroma of 1,000 meals soaked into its wooden rafters, and the faint, sour smell of spilled wine on the rush-strewn floor. The stone corridors themselves have a smell, a perpetual miasma of damp, moss, and a chill that is so profound it seems to have a scent of its own. And in an age where a full bath is a rare, complicated, and often drafty affair, the scent of unwashed humanity is a constant, intimate companion. Perfume, for a lady of your station, is not a light, flirtatious whisper designed to enhance your natural appeal. It is a heavy, opulent, and aggressive statement. It is an olfactory shield, a powerful, fragrant cloud that you use to surround yourself, masking the unpleasant realities of the world and declaring your own separation from the common, smelly herd. It is another form of deception, another layer of beautiful artifice. Your maids, Elsbeth and Isabel, approach for this final, intimate ritual. Isabel brings a small, carved wooden box. She opens it, and inside are not pots of color, but small, waxy cakes of solid perfume and vials of scented water. The process begins with a base layer. You hold your arms out as Elsbeth takes a fine linen cloth and dusts your chemise and the inner layers of your kirtle with a fragrant powder made from ground orris root. The powder has a delicate violet-like scent, and its purpose is to infuse the very fabric of your undergarments with a subtle, foundational perfume. Next, Isabel brings forward a small, elegant flask of rosewater, a precious and expensive distillation brought by traders from the Holy Land. She pours a small amount onto a cloth and gently dabs it onto your wrists, your neck, and behind your ears. The scent is a beautiful, clean, and heartbreakingly pure fragrance of summer roses. It is a lovely, but ultimately weak, defense. You know that its delicate scent will be lost within an hour, a fleeting ghost of a fragrance. For the true, long-lasting work of the day, a heavier and more powerful weapon is required. Elsbeth now opens a small, silver pomade pot. Inside is a thick, yellowish, waxy paste. This is the true perfume. It is not made from flowers. It is made from the most powerful, most expensive, and most animalistic scents in the known world. The base is a mixture of beeswax and mutton fat, but infused into it are substances of almost magical potency. There is musk, a dark, pungent, and incredibly powerful secretion taken from the glands of a rare deer from the mountains of Cathay. There is civet, a strange, fecal-smelling paste that, when diluted, transforms into a scent of profound floral warmth. And the most prized ingredient of all, ambergris, a waxy, sea-scented substance found floating in the ocean, a mysterious gift from the great whales, worth more than its weight in gold. Elsbeth takes a tiny, almost infinitesimal amount of this potent, waxy paste on her fingertip. The warmth of her skin melts it slightly, and the air is immediately filled with a heavy, rich, and almost overwhelming scent. It is not a simple fragrance. It is a complex, multi-layered aroma, sweet, spicy, and deeply, profoundly animalistic. It is the smell of power, of wealth, of a world far removed from the simple realities of the castle. She gently applies the pomade to your pulse points, your wrists, the base of your throat, the insides of your elbows. The scent immediately clings to your skin, a heavy, fragrant armor. The final piece of your olfactory defense is the pomander. Isabel brings it to you. It is a beautiful object, a small hollow sphere of intricately worked silver, designed to hang from your belt by a fine silver chain. You take it in your hand. The surface is pierced with delicate floral patterns. You press a small hidden catch, and the sphere opens on a hinge, revealing that its interior is divided into 6 small, wedge-shaped compartments, like a sliced fruit. This is your personal, portable cloud of fragrance. Your final task is to fill it. You and your maids carefully place a different aromatic substance into each compartment. A small, waxy ball of the civet pomade in one. A tiny, crumbly piece of raw ambergris in another. Dried, fragrant cloves in a third. A resinous tear of frankincense in a fourth. A ball of cotton soaked in rose oil in the fifth. And in the final compartment, a blend of dried herbs, lavender, rosemary, and mint. You snap the pomander shut and attach it to the gilded belt of your houppelande. As you move throughout the day, this small silver sphere will swing gently at your side, and the warmth of your body will release a complex and ever-changing cloud of rich, heavy perfume around you. It is your defensive bubble, a fragrant fortress that will walk with you, ensuring that you smell only of the exotic and the divine, and not of the grim, medieval world you truly inhabit. The transformation is now absolute. Your body is caged in fabric. Your head is crowned with a tower. Your face is a poisonous mask, and you are enveloped in a powerful, deceptive, and impossibly expensive cloud of scent. You no longer look, feel, or smell like the young woman who woke up in this room. You are a perfect, multi-sensory creation, an idol of nobility, ready to be presented and judged. The transformation is complete. The work of the maids is done. You are no longer a simple human form of flesh and bone. You are a construction, a multi-layered, multi-sensory masterpiece of nobility. Your face is a perfect, poisonous mask. Your hair is a hidden, painful cage. Your head is crowned with a magnificent, precarious tower. Your body is encased in a rigid, heavy, and opulent fortress of fabric. And you are enveloped in a powerful, deceptive cloud of exotic scent. The final ritual before you can be presented to the world is the inspection. You must now face yourself. Elsbeth, your senior maid, gives a silent nod to Isabel. Together, they move to the great wooden chest and retrieve the most precious and revealing object in your chamber, the mirror. It is not the vast, clear sheet of looking glass that future queens will one day possess. Such a thing is an almost unimaginable treasure. Your mirror is a humble, yet still incredibly valuable object. It is a disc of highly polished bronze, about the size of a dinner plate, set in an intricately carved ivory frame. Its surface is not perfectly flat, but slightly convex, a subtle curve that is a consequence of its creation. It does not hang on a wall. It is held, a heavy and sacred object, by Isabel, who positions it on the table before you, angling it to catch the weak, gray light from the nearby window. You lean forward, your movements slow and deliberate, constrained by the weight of your hennin and the tightness of your gown. You look into the mirror, and you do not see yourself. The reflection that looks back at you is a stranger, a creature from a dream or a story. The nature of the bronze mirror is not to show the truth, but to create a beautiful lie. The reflection is dim, as if you are viewing yourself through a veil of twilight or honey. The light it captures is soft and warm, and the coppery hue of the polished metal is deeply flattering. It softens the harsh, chalky reality of the white lead foundation, giving your skin a serene, golden, almost divine glow. It mutes the angry redness of your freshly plucked forehead, transforming it into a smooth, placid expanse of noble flesh. It deepens the crimson of your vermilion lips, making them look like a drop of rich, dark blood on pale snow. The slight curve of the mirror's surface subtly distorts your features, making your face seem longer, more slender, more ethereal. The woman in the mirror is a perfect, silent, golden icon. She is beautiful. She is serene. She is not you. Your inspection is not an act of personal vanity. It is the cold, critical assessment of a master craftsman examining their finished work. You are both the artist and the canvas. Your mind becomes a checklist of the day's labor. You turn your head a fraction of an inch to the left. A slow, careful movement. The ceruse, you think. Is the line even along the jaw? You examine the border where the thick white paint meets the skin of your neck. It is a clean, sharp line. There are no smudges. Good. You turn your head to the right. The rouge. Are the circles symmetrical? You study the two faint pink circles on your cheeks. They are perfectly placed, perfectly identical. The work is flawless. You lean closer, your eyes fixing on your own mouth in the dim reflection. The vermilion. Are the lines perfect? You examine the sharp, Cupid's bow shape the maid has painted. The brilliant, poisonous red is contained, precise, a perfect, jewel-like detail. Excellent. You lean back slightly, trying to get a sense of the whole. The towering hennin seems to float above the pale, serene oval of your face. The entire composition is one of balance, of artifice, of a beauty so perfect it is entirely inhuman. And as you stare at this beautiful stranger in the golden twilight of the mirror, a profound and unsettling sense of dissociation washes over you. The creature in the reflection is a success. Chi is a powerful symbol of your family's wealth, a testament to your own piety and discipline. Chi is the perfect object to be presented to the Baron for his appraisal. She is an achievement, but you, the living, breathing woman beneath the layers of poison and fabric, the girl with the aching scalp and the raw skin and the constricted lungs, you have completely disappeared. You have been so successfully erased, so perfectly painted over, that no trace of you remains. You feel a strange, hollow mixture of pride and loss, pride in the perfection of the illusion, and a deep, quiet grief for the person who has been sacrificed to create it. You are the artist, admiring your work. And you are the victim, mourning your own demise. After a long, silent moment of assessment, you give a single, slight, almost imperceptible nod. It is the signal of your approval. You can hear Isabel let out a tiny, quiet sigh of relief beside you. Their work has been judged, and it has been found worthy. You push yourself back from the table and rise to your feet, the heavy velvet of your gown rustling around you. You turn away from the beautiful, lying reflection in the mirror. The final inspection is complete. The construction is finished. You are no longer a person. You are a performance. You are an image. You are ready. You take the first, slow and carefully balanced step towards the chamber door. It is time to descend. The final inspection is complete. The beautiful, distorted reflection in the bronze mirror has confirmed the success of your maid's long and arduous work. You are no longer the person who woke in this chamber. You are a perfect, multi-sensory illusion, a walking embodiment of your family's wealth and status. But the creation of a masterpiece is only half the battle. Now, the masterpiece must be moved. You must descend from the private, feminine world of the bedchamber into the loud, public, and judgmental world of the great hall, where the Baron and your future await. Your maids, Elsbeth and Isabel, open the heavy oak door to your chamber. The simple act of walking through it is your first challenge. You must turn your body sideways, tilting your head at a precise and unnatural angle to guide the 2-foot-tall, pointed spire of your hennon through the stone archway without scraping it. It is a slow, awkward maneuver, the first of many compromises your magnificent attire will demand of you. You step out into the corridor, and your final journey begins. Your destination is the Great Hall, 2 floors below. The only way there is the main tower's great, winding stone staircase. In your simple chemise, you could run down these stairs in a matter of seconds. Dressed as you are now, the staircase is not a simple path. It is a formidable and treacherous obstacle course. It is a perilous mountain you must now descend. You approach the first step, and the true, crushing reality of your costume makes itself known. The weight of it all is immense. The heavy velvet houppelande, the layers of wool, the gilded belt, the jewelry, it is a significant burden. But the true enemy is its design. The hem of your gown does not end at your ankles. It pools in a great, luxurious circle of fabric on the floor around your feet. The enormous, dagger-shaped sleeves, lined with heavy ermine fur, hang down past your knees. And the hennon, the great precarious tower on your head, makes you feel as though you are balancing a spear on your nose. You cannot make this journey alone. You are a precious, fragile object, and you require handlers. Elsbeth, the senior maid, steps in front of you, her movements nimble and practiced. She stoops and carefully gathers the great mass of velvet that pools at your feet, lifting it just enough so that you will not step on your own hem and tumble to your death. Isabel takes her place behind you, her sole task to manage the long, gossamer thin silk veil that floats from the peak of your hennon. ensuring it does not snag on a rough stone or a wall sconce. You are the centerpiece of your own small, mobile court. Ready, my lady? Elsbeth asks softly. You give a stiff nod, your neck already aching from the weight of your headdress. You take the first step. The descent is a slow, agonizingly precise process. Your vision is severely restricted. The hennin forces you to keep your chin up and your gaze fixed forward. You cannot look down to see the steps. To do so would be to send the tower toppling. You must rely on your memory of the staircase and the quiet, verbal guidance of your maids. A narrow step, my lady, Elsbeth murmurs from below you. Mind the wall on your left, my lady, Isabel whispers from behind. You descend one step at a time, your hand trailing along the cold, rough stone of the central pillar for balance. The staircase winds in a tight spiral, and with every turn, you must adjust the angle of your head, a constant, painful negotiation between your hennin and the low, curving stone ceiling. A sharp, persistent ache begins to burn in the muscles of your neck and shoulders. The tight lacing of your kirtle, which was merely restrictive when you were standing still, now becomes a true torment. The physical effort of the descent, however slow, makes you want to breathe more deeply, but the garment will not allow it. You can only take small, shallow sips of air, which leaves you feeling slightly dizzy and lightheaded. You are acutely aware that you are still, in a way, on stage. A guard standing in an alcove, a servant passing on their way to another task. They might see you. And so, you must maintain the performance. Your face, your perfect painted mask, must remain a vision of serene, effortless grace. You must glide down these stairs like a celestial being, not stumble like a woman trapped in a beautiful, heavy, and impossibly impractical cage. The sheer amount of will it takes to maintain this placid expression, why every muscle in your body is screaming with the strain, is immense. You reflect on the profound and bitter irony of your station. You are one of the highest-ranking women in this fortress. Your clothes are worth a fortune. Your appearance is a symbol of power. Yet in this moment you are more helpless than the lowest scullery maid. She, in her simple, practical tunic, can run up and down these stairs with a bucket of water in each hand. You, in your magnificent splendor, can barely manage to move your own body. Your status is not a source of freedom. It is the very architecture of your prison. Finally, after what feels like an age, you reach the bottom of the staircase. You step out onto the flat, blessed floor of the main corridor. You pause for a moment, standing perfectly still, allowing the trembling in your legs to subside. Elsbeth carefully arranges the hem of your gown around your feet again. Isabel adjusts your veil. They give you a final, approving look. A perilous descent is over. You have survived. You can hear the sounds of the great hall just ahead, the music of lutes and pipes, the low rumble of men's laughter, the clatter of plates. You take a final, shallow breath. You are a perfect, static work of art, a creature designed for stillness. And now, you must force yourself to walk, to glide, to float into that hall and endure the long, judgmental performance that is to come. You stand for a moment at the threshold of the great hall, a silent, glittering statue, allowing the world you are about to enter to settle. The journey down the staircase was a private, physical battle. What awaits you now is a public, psychological war. Your maids, Elsbeth and Isabel, give your vast skirts a final, perfect arrangement and then step back, their duties as constructors complete. They are now merely your attendants, your background figures. You are the masterpiece, and you are about to be unveiled. A herald, stationed by the great doors, sees you. He strikes the butt of his staff on the stone floor 3 times, the loud thump, thump, thump cutting through the din of the hall. The music from the minstrel's gallery falters. The loud, boisterous laughter of the knights at the trestle tables dies down. A wave of relative silence washes through the cavernous space. "Mo Lady Anne," the herald's voice booms, announcing your name to the assembly. "This is your cue. You take the first." Slow, gliding step into the hall. The performance has begun. The world you step into is an assault on the senses. The heat from the great roaring hearth, which you have not felt for hours, washes over you. A welcome but shocking change from the icy corridors. The air is thick with the smells of the feast. The rich, greasy aroma of roasted boar, the sweet scent of baked apples, the sharp tang of spilled wine, and the ever-present haze of wood smoke. The noise, which had quieted for your entrance, now resumes, a loud, chaotic symphony of music, laughter, and the clatter of plates and goblets. It is a vibrant, masculine world, a world of loud boasts and hearty appetites. And into this world you must float, a silent, serene, and otherworldly creature. Your long walk from the entrance to your seat at the high table is the most important journey of your life. It is a slow, deliberate procession, a performance for 100 critical eyes. You keep your own gaze modestly directed at a point on the floor 10 feet in front of you. Your movements are unnaturally smooth. Your feet, hidden beneath the great river of your velvet gown, taking small, careful steps. Your hands are clasped gently before you. Your face is a perfect, placid, and unreadable mask. You are the perfect embodiment of maidenly grace. But behind the mask, you are acutely, painfully aware of the gaze. It is a physical weight, 1,000 invisible threads of judgment pulling at you from every corner of the hall. You can feel the eyes of the common soldiers and men-at-arms as you pass their lowly tables at the far end. Their gaze is a crude mixture of awe and lust. You are a creature from another species to them, a beautiful, untouchable symbol of the nobility they serve and will die for. They stare at your fine clothes, at the impossible height of your headdress, and they see the power of their lord made manifest. As you move further up the hall, you feel the gaze of the women, the wives of your father's most important knights, seated at their own table. Their gaze is different. It is sharp, precise, and forensic. They are not looking at you, they are dissecting you. Their eyes, in a single sweeping glance, have calculated the immense cost of your velvet, noted the quality of the ermine fur lining your sleeves, judged the height and angle of your hennin, and appraised the flawless, poisonous white of your complexion. It is not a gaze of admiration. It is a competitive, critical assessment from your peers and rivals in the silent, vicious war of courtly status. You can feel the gaze of your father, already seated at the high table. It is a look of anxious, possessive pride. You are his creation, the product of his wealth and his ambition. He is watching his prize asset being presented, and he is praying that the asset performs flawlessly. But all of these are merely background noise. The only gaze that truly matters, the one that feels like a physical touch, is the gaze of the Baron. He is seated to your father's right, in the seat of highest honor. He is an older man, perhaps twice your father's age, his face a hard, sun-beaten mask, his beard more gray than black. He is a famous warrior, a man known for his brutality on the battlefield and his shrewdness in politics, and he is watching you. His gaze is the most terrifying of all because it is utterly devoid of emotion. It is not the look of a poet admiring a flower, nor the look of a man seeing his future wife. It is the cool, dispassionate, and calculating gaze of a merchant inspecting a fine horse before a purchase. He is not seeing you, Lady Anne. He is assessing your value. His eyes flick from the flawless white of your skin a sign of pure indoor breeding, to your high, plucked forehead, a sign of intelligence and piety, to your serene, motionless expression, a sign of a docile and obedient nature. He is reading the text of your appearance, and from it he is calculating your worth in acres of land, in military alliances, in the potential to produce healthy male heirs. You finally reach the high table. The long walk is over. Your maids scurry forward to help you with the complex maneuver of sitting down, arranging the vast folds of your gown around you. You take your seat, your back ramrod straight, your hands resting gently in your lap. You are on stage. You are the main attraction at this feast, but you are a silent one. You are an object, a symbol, a beautiful decorative piece of political currency. And you are surrounded by the men who will decide your fate. You can feel the Baron's heavy, calculating gaze still upon you. After a moment, you lift your own eyes and meet his for a single, fleeting, terrifying second. Your face, a perfect mask of serene innocence. The performance has truly begun. You are seated at the high table, a silent painted jewel in the boisterous masculine world of the feast. The hall is a whirlwind of noise and motion around you. Minstrels in the gallery play a lively tune on lutes and pipes. The men at the lower tables laugh loudly, their voices echoing off the high, smoky rafters. The servants are a constant river of motion, carrying great, steaming platters of food and heavy jugs of wine. But in your small, personal space, the world is one of stillness, of intense focus, and of 100 hidden dangers. For the men around you, this feast is a moment of pure, unrestrained indulgence. For you, it is a minefield. Your entire morning was dedicated to constructing a perfect, fragile, and poisonous work of art. Your afternoon must now be dedicated to the stressful and demanding task of not destroying it. A servant places a silver plate before you. Unlike the men who eat from shared trenchers of stale bread, you are given the honor of your own plate. On it, he arranges a delicate portion of the feast's offerings, a thin, pale slice of roasted swan, a small spoonful of glistening jellied eels, and a single perfect stewed pear, its skin glistening with honey and cloves. It is a beautiful arrangement, a meal fit for a queen, and the act of eating it will be one of the most difficult and dangerous things you do all day. You pick up your small, elegant eating knife. Your first and most constant enemy is your own face. The thick, white mask of Venetian ceruse that coats your skin is a masterpiece of deception, but it is as brittle as a robin's egg. You cannot laugh at the Baron's gruff attempt at a joke, for to do so, to engage the muscles in your face too widely, would be to risk cracking the perfect smooth surface of your foundation. A crack would be a catastrophe, a horrifying fissure in your mask of serenity that would reveal the flawed, living skin beneath. And so, your face must remain a placid, almost motionless canvas. Your second, more intimate enemy is your own mouth. The brilliant crimson vermilion painted on your lips is a beautiful and deadly thing. You must eat with the delicate, bird-like precision of a surgeon to avoid smearing the perfect, sharp lines of your Cupid's bow. You cut a tiny, almost impossibly small piece of the swan meat. You lift it to your mouth on the tip of your knife and place it inside with a small, careful movement, ensuring the food does not touch the painted surface of your lips. You chew with small, restrained movements, your mouth barely seeming to move at all. More dangerous still is the poison itself. You are acutely aware that you are wearing a layer of mercury sulfide on your lips. Every particle you might accidentally ingest is a small, incremental step towards a future of loose teeth and a trembling sickness. You must not, under any circumstances, lick your lips, no matter how dry they become. It is a constant, conscious act of will. a small battle being fought with every bite. Your magnificent clothing, the very symbol of your status, is your next great adversary. The tight, unforgiving lacing of your kirtle constricts your ribs and stomach, making every swallow of food feel like you are packing it into a space that is already full. You are not meant to eat your fill. You are meant to nibble, to perform a delicate pantomime of eating that befits a creature as ethereal as yourself. And then there are the sleeves. The enormous, floor-length, ermine-lined sleeves of your hoopoland are a constant menace. To bring the piece of pear from your plate to your mouth requires a strange, cramped, almost reptilian movement of your arm, holding your elbow high and your wrist bent at an awkward angle to keep the vast river of velvet from dragging through your plate, dipping into your wine goblet, or worst of all, sweeping through the flame of the thick beeswax candle that burns beside you. A single moment of inattention, a single relaxed movement, and you could find yourself spectacularly, horrifyingly on fire. While you are engaged in this silent, high-stakes battle with your own appearance, you must also perform the role of a charming and attentive lady. The Baron, your potential future husband, turns his hard, appraising gaze upon you. "Your father tells me you are skilled at embroidery, my lady," he says, his voice a low rumble, as he tears a great piece of bread in half with his greasy fingers. You cannot turn your head to face him fully, for the great hennin forbids such a sudden movement. You angle your entire body slightly, a slow, graceful pivot. You produce a small, practiced, and entirely closed-lipped smile. "I find it a pleasing pastime, my lord," you say, your voice a soft musical murmur. You are a perfect portrait of demure femininity, but inside, your mind is a frantic whirlwind of commands. Keep the sleeve back. Tiny bite. Don't open your mouth too wide. Don't lick your lips. Smile, but do not show your teeth. Sit up straight, or the tower will fall. You watch the men around you. You watch your father and the Baron as they tear into the roasted meat, their faces shiny with grease, their laughter booming through the hall as they drain their goblets of wine. They are creatures of appetite, of freedom, of loud and unrestrained motion. You are a creature of stillness, of restraint, of careful, silent calculation. You are a beautiful, precious, and utterly caged thing. You survive the first course. You have consumed 3 tiny bites of swan and a single slice of pear. You have not cracked your mask. You have not smeared your lips. You have not set yourself on fire. To the world, you are the picture of effortless, serene grace. But you are exhausted, not from any physical labor, but from the sheer, unblinking, and absolutely relentless mental effort of it all. You take a small, delicate sip of wine and prepare yourself for the next course and the next act in your long, dangerous, and beautiful play. The feast grinds on, a long and lavish performance of your father's wealth. The first course is cleared away, and a second, even more magnificent one is presented. A great platter bearing a whole roasted pig, its skin crackling, and an apple stuffed in its mouth, is placed before your father. Servants bring trays of sweet, spiced custards, delicate pastries filled with fruit, and more jugs of dark, potent wine. The noise in the hall grows louder. The men's laughter more boisterous and unrestrained as the wine takes hold. The air grows thick and heavy, a suffocating mixture of wood smoke, roasting meat, and the sweat of 100 bodies packed into the great hall. You continue your own quiet, arduous performance. You allow a servant to place a tiny spoonful of the sweet custard onto your silver plate. You raise a small, perfect portion to your mouth. Your movements a study in deliberate, restrained grace. You are a perfect statue of nobility, serene and untouched by the gluttony that surrounds you. But inside, a new and unwelcome sensation is beginning to stir. It starts as a low, dull, and persistent throb. A faint pressure behind your eyes. At first, you dismiss it. It is nothing. It is the strain of balancing the heavy, awkward hennin on your head for so many hours. It is the smoke from the great fire which has begun to irritate your eyes. It is the stress of the Baron's constant, appraising gaze. A noblewoman is subject to any number of small discomforts, and it is her duty to ignore them, to rise above them. You maintain your placid, gentle expression, a soft, closed-lipped smile fixed on your face. But the throb does not fade. It grows. Slowly, patiently, it builds from a dull pressure into a distinct, pounding ache. It is as if a tiny, meticulous drummer has taken up residence inside your skull, beating out a slow, steady, and inescapable rhythm. The noise of the great hall, which was a distant roar just moments before, now seems to amplify. The boisterous laughter of the knights, the high-pitched melody of the minstrel's pipes, the simple clatter of a dropped goblet. Each sound is a sharp physical blow against your aching head. The flickering light from the hundreds of torches and candles seems to grow brighter, more intense, a painful glare that makes you want to squeeze your eyes shut. But you cannot. You must remain serene, your gaze soft and attentive. Then, a second symptom appears. A strange foul taste begins to bloom on your tongue. It is a metallic, coppery taste, the taste of old, wet coins. At first, it is faint, but it grows stronger. A persistent, unpleasant flavor that taints the sip of wine you take, making it taste sour and spoiled. It is the taste of the brilliant vermilion paste on your lips, a beautiful and vibrant poison, slowly, inevitably, making its way into your body. A wave of dizziness washes over you. The smoke-filled hall, with its dancing lights and loud, moving figures, seems to tilt and sway, like the deck of a ship in a storm. You grip the edge of the heavy oak table with the hand that is hidden in your lap, your knuckles white, anchoring yourself against the feeling. You take a slow, shallow breath, constrained by the tight lacing of your kirtle, and you fight to maintain your composure. In the secret, silent chambers of your mind, you know what this is. You have heard the whispers among the ladies of the court. You have heard them speak in low, hushed tones of the painter's colic, of the persistent headaches, the strange tastes, the trembling sickness that seems to afflict so many of the most celebrated beauties after years of devotion to their craft. You have seen your own mother, after a long day at court, retire to her chamber with a migraine that would leave her pale and weak for a day. You know with a certainty that you refuse to acknowledge that it is the makeup. It is the heavy, white blanket of lead that has been sitting on your skin for hours, its poison slowly seeping into your pores. It is the brilliant, beautiful mercury that paints your lips, its venom a constant, intimate presence. But you force this knowledge down. You build a wall against it. It cannot be the makeup. The makeup is the source of your beauty, your status, your power. To admit it is also the source of your sickness would be to admit an unbearable truth. No, it is the heat from the fire. It is the strong, spiced wine. It is the simple fatigue of a long and stressful day. You construct a dozen other, more palatable explanations, because the truth is too monstrous to contemplate. You tell yourself that even if it is the price of beauty, it is a price you must be willing to pay. This silent, internal suffering is simply another layer of your duty. The pain in your head is no different from the pain in your scalp, from the tight braids, or the pain in your ribs from the tight laces. It is the secret, necessary martyrdom of being a noble woman. To be beautiful is to suffer. To be noble is to suffer in silence. You glance across the table at the wife of one of your father's knights. She is a celebrated beauty, her skin as white as yours, her lips as red. She is laughing at a jest the Baron has made, her smile perfect and serene. You wonder with a sudden, dizzying sense of shared conspiracy if she too feels the tiny drummer behind her eyes, if she too can taste the poison on her tongue. But her face, like yours, is a perfect, impenetrable mask. She would never admit it. The Baron turns his heavy, assessing gaze back to you. "You are quiet, my lady," he rumbles, his voice thick with wine. You meet his gaze. You conjure your most serene, most gentle, and most false smile. "I am content to listen to the wisdom of my elders, my lord," you say, your voice a soft, musical lie. He grunts, satisfied with your demure and pious answer. He sees a vision of perfect, placid health and noble virtue. He does not see the pain that is pounding behind your eyes. He does not see the way you are gripping the table to keep the world from spinning. He sees the beautiful, flawless illusion you have spent all day creating. The whisper of the poison is glowing louder in your own mind. But you are the only one who can hear it. The feast continues its loud, inexorable progress. Course after course has been presented and cleared away. The floor is now littered with discarded bones thrown to the hounds, and the air is so thick with smoke, sweat, and the smell of spilled wine that it has become a heavy, suffocating blanket. The men at the high table are flushed with drink, their voices loud, their gestures expansive. You, however, remain a small, cold island of perfect, silent composure in the midst of this chaotic, masculine sea. Your headache is now a persistent, pounding drum against the inside of your skull, and the world has a slightly unreal, shimmering quality. But your face betrays nothing. You have survived the hazards of the meal. You have navigated the treacherous currents of conversation. Now, the true purpose of this entire, elaborate performance is at hand. Your father, who has been engaged in a loud and boisterous conversation with the Baron about a recent border skirmish, sets down his wine goblet with a heavy, deliberate thud. He turns his gaze from his guest and fixes it for a moment on you. It is a sharp, meaningful look. It is the signal. You feel a jolt of pure, cold dread, but you meet his gaze with the same serene, placid expression you have maintained all evening. Your father clears his throat, and his voice, honed by years of commanding men in battle, cuts through the noise of the hall, creating a small pocket of attentive silence around the high table. "My Lord Baron," your father begins, his tone shifting from that of a friendly host to that of a man conducting serious business. "You have honored my hall with your presence. You have tasted my wine and broken my bread. You have seen the strength of my fortress and the loyalty of my men." He pauses, then makes a grand, sweeping gesture in your direction. "I present to you now the jewel of my house, my daughter Anne." The words are a formal declaration. He has named you a jewel, a treasure, an object to be displayed. And now the appraisal will begin. The Baron, who has been politely including you in his general field of vision all evening, now turns his full, undivided, and unblinking attention upon you. The casual assessment is over. The forensic examination has begun. His gaze is no longer just a glance. It is a heavy, physical weight, and you feel it pressing down on you. It is the most terrifying gaze you have ever endured, precisely because it is utterly devoid of warmth, of romance, of any human connection. It is the cool, dispassionate, and deeply invasive gaze of a man assessing an asset. He is a butcher judging livestock, a merchant valuing a commodity, a general evaluating a strategic prize. And you are all of those things. His eyes, small and gray like chips of winter stone, begin their slow, methodical inventory. You know, with the certainty of a lifetime of training, exactly what he is looking for. You know the checklist that is being marked off in his mind. First, your face. His eyes linger on your complexion. The skin is a perfect, flawless, luminous white, untouched by the sun. Good, the look says. She is of high birth. She is not a common field hand. The bloodline is pure. His gaze travels upwards, to your forehead. It is a high, wide, and perfectly smooth dome, completely bare of eyebrow or hairline. Excellent, the look communicates. A sign of intelligence, of piety, of a serene and thoughtful nature. She will not be a troublesome, willful, or overly emotional wife. He looks at your form, at the slender, graceful shape created by the tight lacing of your kirtle. Good. She is delicate, refined. She has been well cared for. He looks at your expression, at the serene, placid, almost empty look you have perfected. A look made easier by the tightening, paralyzing effect of the lead foundation. Perfect. She is docile, obedient. She will not cause political trouble at court. She will be a quiet and manageable wife. The appraisal becomes more direct. Stand, girl, your father commands, his voice firm. You rise, your movements slow and graceful, a river of heavy blue velvet pooling at your feet. The Baron's gaze travels down your form and back up again. He nods to your father. Then he looks at your hands, which are resting demurely before you. Your hand, my lady, the Baron says, his voice a low rumble. Your heart is a frantic bird beating against the cage of your tightly laced ribs. You extend your hand. He takes it in his own. His hand is a shocking thing. It is huge, rough. The skin thick with calluses from a lifetime of holding the reins of a war horse and the hilt of a sword. It completely engulfs your own small, pale, and delicate hand. His grip is firm, impersonal. He is not holding your hand, he is assessing it. He is feeling the delicacy of your bones, the softness of your skin, more proof of your noble, non-laboring status. The touch lasts only a moment, but it is an eternity of silent, terrifying judgment. Throughout this entire, humiliating ordeal, you are a perfect statue. You do not flinch from his gaze. You do not tremble at his touch. You do not show a flicker of the fear or the revulsion that is churning in your stomach. Your face is a beautiful, empty, and obedient mask. Your entire life, every lesson in posture, every painful session with the tweezers, every moment of discomfort in tight clothing has been a rehearsal for these few, silent moments. The Baron releases your hand and turns back to your father. He does not smile, but he gives a single, slow, and deeply satisfied nod. The verdict has been delivered. The deal is done. A wave of something that is not joy, but a profound and weary relief washes over you, so powerfully it makes you dizzy. You sit back down, your maids helping you arrange your skirts. You have passed. You have succeeded. Your performance, the product of so much pain and poison, was flawless. The Baron and your father now turn to each other, their conversation resuming, but the tone is different. It is the sound of two powerful men who have come to an agreement. They begin to speak in low, serious tones of the details of the contract, of the dowry, of the lands that will be joined, of the military obligations that will be sworn. You are no longer the focus of their attention. You have been appraised. Your value has been confirmed. You have served your purpose for the evening. You sit in perfect, beautiful silence, a successful and expensive object, and you listen to the two men who are now bartering for the rest of your life. The Baron's nod of approval is a silent, final judgment. The transaction is complete. You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found worthy. Your future, which was a question just an hour ago, has now been settled. You are to be a baroness. You are to be the mistress of a different, larger, and likely colder castle in the northern marches. You have succeeded in the most important task of your young life, and you feel nothing but a vast, hollow, and soul-crushingly profound exhaustion. The feast, for you, is now over. The men at the high table, their business concluded, turn back to their wine and their loud, boastful stories of war and hunting. You are no longer the focus of their attention. You are a concluded piece of business, an asset that has been successfully traded. You remain at the table for another hour, a silent, beautiful, and now entirely superfluous ornament. The noise of the hall, the heat of the fire, the rich smells of the food, it all merges into a single overwhelming sensory assault. The tiny drummer inside your skull is now beating a frantic, pounding rhythm against your temples. The world shimmers at the edges of your vision. You focus on a single point in the tapestry behind your father's head and hold on to your composure by a thin, fraying thread. Finally, you see your mother catch your eye from across the table. She gives you a small, almost imperceptible nod. It is the signal of dismissal. It is the gift of your release. The process of leaving is as formal and as choreographed as your arrival. You rise, a slow and graceful maneuver that requires the subtle, hidden assistance of your maid Elsbeth, who pushes your chair back for you. You perform a low, perfect curtsy to your father, then to the Baron. Your movements are fluid, serene, betraying none of the dizzying pain in your head or the trembling weakness in your limbs. You are a perfect lady to the very end. You turn and begin the long, lonely walk back across the great hall. The eyes of the room follow you one last time. You are a magnificent ship in full sail, a river of blue velvet and golden thread, crowned with a tower of impossible height. You glide across the rush-strewn floor, a vision of effortless grace, and you do not allow yourself to falter until you have passed through the great arched doorway and out of their sight. The moment the heavy oak door closes behind you, cutting off the wall of noise and heat from the hall, the performance ends, and the collapse begins. The serene, placid mask you have held in place for hours cracks. Your shoulders slump. The graceful glide becomes a heavy, stumbling walk. You reach out a hand and press it against the cold, rough stone of the corridor wall to steady yourself. You close your eyes for a moment against the searing pain in your head. The world tilts and spins. You are no longer a beautiful, otherworldly creature. You are a young woman in a great deal of pain, trapped in a cage of fabric and bone. Your maids, who have followed you out, are at your side in an instant. They have seen this before. They are the stagehands who must deal with the exhausted actor after the curtain has fallen. "My lady," Elsbeth says, her voice a low, worried murmur. She takes your arm, her grip firm and supportive. "Lean on me." You do, and the relief of sharing the immense weight of your costume is so profound it makes you weak. "The hennin," you whisper, your own voice a hoarse, unfamiliar sound. "It is a torment." "I know, my lady," she says soothingly. "Only a little further. We will have you free of it soon." The journey back to your chamber is a new kind of ordeal. The great winding staircase, which was a perilous descent, is now an almost insurmountable mountain. Every step upwards is a monumental effort. The weight of the hoopoland, which you carried with such poise just hours ago, now feels like a cloak made of lead, tulling you down. The tight lacing of your kirtle, which you have endured all evening, now feels like a band of hot iron, making each shallow, desperate breath a new struggle. You climb, one step at a time, leaning heavily on your two mates. They are your crutches, your guides. They murmur words of encouragement. They lift the hem of your gown. They shield the flame of the torch from the drafts. They are the silent, unacknowledged engineers of your elegance. Without them, you would be a helpless, glittering heap at the bottom of the stairs. By the time you reach the heavy oak door of your bedchamber, you are trembling with a bone-deep exhaustion that is far more profound than any simple tiredness. It is the exhaustion of a soldier after a long and brutal battle. You have been on high alert for hours, performing a role that required absolute physical and mental control. And now that the battle is won, your body is finally presenting you with the cost of your victory. Elsbeth pushes the door open. The room inside is dark and cold, the fire in the hearth having burned down to a bed of sullen, dying embers. But it is a sanctuary. It is your private world, the only place where the performance can truly end. You stumble across the threshold and lean against the solid, comforting wood of the bedpost. The great curtained bed, a silent, welcoming presence in the gloom. The exhausted retreat is over. You have made it back. You have passed the test. You have won the prize. You have secured your future. And you have never felt more broken. You stand there, a beautiful, victorious, and utterly spent doll, and you wait for your maids to begin the long, painful process of taking you apart. You stumble into the relative sanctuary of your bedchamber, a beautiful, broken wreck. The exhaustion you feel is not the simple tiredness of a body that has worked hard. It is the profound, soul-deep weariness of a mind that has been on high alert for hours, performing a flawless, high-stakes role. The heavy oak door closes behind you, and the sound of its great iron latch falling into place is the sound of the curtain finally coming down on your long, agonizing performance. You lean against the bedpost, the carved wood cool and solid against your back, and for a moment, you simply breathe. Your maids, Elsbeth and Isabel, move about the room with a quiet, practiced efficiency. They do not speak to you. They understand that this is a time for silent, methodical deconstruction. Isabel moves to the hearth and, with the bellows, coaxes the dying embers back into a soft, gentle flame, adding a single small log. The room does not need to be warm, but the light and the sound of a crackling fire are a comfort. Elsbeth lights several thick beeswax candles, placing them on the table, filling the cold, dark chamber with a soft, warm, and welcoming light. The room is being transformed from a public stage into a private sanctuary, a place of healing. When you have caught your breath, Elsbeth gently takes your arm. "My lady," she says softly, "let us begin. You must be uncomfortable." It is the greatest understatement of your life. You allow her to guide you to the small wooden stool before your dressing table. You sit, your back ramrod straight, your body still locked in the rigid posture the evening has demanded of you. The process of undoing the day's artifice must begin. And it begins at the top. The towering 2-foot-tall hennin on your head, which was a symbol of your magnificence in the Great Hall, is now nothing more than a heavy, precarious, and deeply painful burden. The muscles in your neck and shoulders are a tight, screaming knot from the hours of keeping it perfectly balanced. Elsbeth stands behind you. The dismantling is her work. It requires a senior, steady hand. First, she addresses the long, gossamer veil of fine silk that is attached to the very peak of the cone. With the delicate touch of a woman handling a spider's web, she removes the 3 tiny silver pins that hold it in place. She gathers the yards of transparent fabric, folding it with a reverence reserved for a holy relic, and places it carefully in a wooden box lined with linen. Now for the tower itself. The hennin is anchored to your head with a series of long, sharp bronze pins, each one driven through the velvet base, deep into the tightly coiled braids of your hair. Elsbeth begins the process of removing them, one by one. "Hold still, my lady," she murmurs. You feel the first pin begin to move. It does not slide out easily. It has been holding the weight and the tension for hours, and it resists. A sharp, pulling sensation that sends a fresh wave of pain through your already tender scalp. She wiggles it gently, back and forth, and then it comes free with a soft shink. You hear the faint, metallic click as she places it into a small wooden bowl. She moves to the next pin, and the next. There are more than a dozen of them. Each one is a small, sharp negotiation, a tug-of-war between the pin and your own hair. Some slide out with a sickening ease. Others must be worked free with a patient, painful twisting. With each pin that is removed, you can feel the great tower on your head becoming slightly less stable, more precarious. Finally, the last pin is out. With both hands, Elsbeth gently, carefully lifts the great velvet cone from your head. The feeling is one of almost impossible ecstatic release. A great weight, a great pressure is suddenly gone. The rush of blood back into your compressed scalp is a dizzying, tingling sensation. For a moment, you feel lightheaded, as if you might float away, your head suddenly a thing of impossible lightness. You instinctively try to move your neck, and the groan of your stiff, protesting muscles is an audible sound in the quiet moom. The tower is gone, but you are not yet free. Your hair is still a rigid, painful cage. It is still coiled in two tight, hard buns over your ears, held in place by another army of smaller, finer pins made of carved bone. Isabel, the younger maid, now steps forward. It is her task to dismantle this finer, more intimate structure. She works with a quick, nimble touch, her small fingers finding and removing the dozens of bone pins that hold the braids in their coiled shape. Click, click, click. The bowl on the table fills with the small, pale pins. With the coils undone, your two long, heavy, and tightly woven braids fall free, thumping against your back. The relief is immense, but the tight pulling pain at the roots of your hair remains. Isabel then begins the final act of liberation, the unbraiding. She takes the end of one braid and begins to gently work the plaits apart. You can feel her fingers moving up the length of your hair, undoing the day's strict, oppressive order. You can hear the soft, rustling sound of the hair as it is freed from its tight bonds. When the last of the braids is undone, your hair falls free, a heavy, crinkled cascade over your shoulders and down your back. The release is the most profound sensation of all. The constant, agonizing pulling pain in your scalp, a pain you have endured for more than 8 hours, finally begins to subside, replaced by a gentle pins and needles tingling. You close your eyes and let out a long, shuddering breath, a sound that is half sigh, half sob. You sit on the stool, your eyes closed, as Isabel takes a wide-toothed comb of polished ivory and begins the long, slow, gentle process of combing out the knots and ridges left by the tight braids. The repetitive, soothing motion is a balm to your tortured scalp. The monstrous hennin sits on the table beside you, a hollow, discarded shell. The worst of the physical constraints are gone. You have been unpinned. And in this small, quiet, and intensely personal act of deconstruction, you begin the long journey back to becoming yourself. The liberation of your hair is a profound relief, a shedding of the most immediate and painful of your physical burdens. You sit on the stool, your eyes closed, as Isabel gently combs the knots from your long, unbound tresses. The heavy, pulling ache in your scalp has subsided into a dull, tingling memory. For a moment, you feel a flicker of something close to peace. But the night's work of deconstruction is far from over. You are still encased in your armor. And the most intimate, most poisonous layer of that armor remains firmly attached to your own skin. It is time to remove your face. Elsbeth and Isabel move with a quiet, practiced efficiency. The candles are brought closer, their soft, warm light, a stark contrast to the harsh, public glare of the great hall's torches. Isabel brings a basin of steaming water, a rare and precious luxury, heated over the chamber's own small fire. The sight of the steam, a soft, white cloud in the chilly room, is a promise of comfort. Another maid enters with a silver ewer of cool, clean water from the well. Elsbeth herself lays out the tools for this next phase, a series of soft, clean linen cloths, a small pot of a thick, greasy yellow ointment, and another of a sweet-smelling, milky lotion. A thick towel is draped carefully over your shoulders, a protective barrier to shield the magnificent but cumbersome velvet of your gown from the oils and grime to come. You are no longer a noblewoman being adorned. You are a patient, preparing for a difficult and painful medical procedure. You lean forward over the table. The process begins not with water, but with grease. The Venetian ceruse, the foundation of your beauty, is a thick, water-resistant paint. It cannot simply be washed away. It must be dissolved. Elsbeth takes a large, two-fingered scoop of the thick yellow ointment from its pot. It is a simple, heavy concoction of sheep's lanolin, beeswax, and almond oil, and it smells of wool and wax. She begins to smear it all over your face, her touch surprisingly gentle but firm. The sensation is deeply unpleasant. The ointment is cool, thick, and greasy, a disgusting layer being applied on top of the already heavy, chalky layer of your makeup. Elsbeth works with slow, circular motions, massaging the grease into the lead paint. You can feel the perfect, brittle mask you have worn all day beginning to break down under her touch. The ointment is a solvent, and you can feel the moment it begins to work. The moment the hard, dry ceruse begins to soften, to mix with the grease, to become a thick, heavy sludge. She works it into every corner of your face, over your eyelids, around your nose, and down your neck and chest, wherever the white poison has been applied. When she is finished, your face is a grotesque, greasy, great white mess. You are a statue, melting. Now comes the removal. Isabel takes one of the soft linen cloths, dips it into the basin of hot steaming water, and wrings it out. The heat from the cloth is a small, welcome shock. She begins to wipe away the mixture of ointment and lead paint. This is not a gentle, dabbing motion. It requires a firm, almost scrubbing pressure. The cloth comes away from your face, thick with a disgusting gray sludge. It is the color of wet ashes. This is the beauty you have been wearing. She takes a clean section of the cloth and wipes again. And again. The process is repeated with a second cloth and then a third. It is a slow, methodical scouring. The maids work to remove every last trace of the poisonous white mask. They are gentle, but the repeated friction on your delicate skin is painful. You can feel your face growing tender, raw, and hot beneath their hands. They use a corner of the cloth wrapped around a fingernail to scrape the stubborn remnants of the ceruse from the fine lines around your eyes and from the raw, plucked expanse of your hairline. A separate, smaller cloth is used for your lips. The brilliant, deadly crimson paste of vermilion, a mixture of mercury and wax, is wiped away, leaving your lips feeling numb, swollen, and strangely bare. Finally, after what feels like an age of this greasy, uncomfortable scouring, Elsbeth deems the work complete. You lean over the basin, and with your own hands, you splash the clean, cool water from the ewer onto your face. The water is a shock, and it stings, a sharp, clean pain on your newly raw and tender skin. But it is the feeling of being clean. You take a final soft linen towel and gently pat your face dry. The corrosive mask is gone. You can feel your skin breathe for the first time in nearly 12 hours. The tight pulling sensation has vanished. You can move your own face again. You can feel the muscles in your own brow, the skin around your own mouth. The physical relief is so profound it makes you feel dizzy. But this relief is married to a deep and familiar sense of dread. For hours, you have inhabited the persona of a perfect, flawless, otherworldly creature. You have seen her serene golden reflection in the bronze mirror. You have felt the power that this illusion commands. Now, the illusion has been scrubbed away, and you are about to confront the flawed, mortal, and damaged reality that lies beneath. You sit there for a long moment, your face clean but stinging, your eyes closed. The maids have cleared away the dirty cloths and the bowls of gray, greasy water. The room is quiet again. You know you must look in the mirror. You must assess the damage. You take a deep breath and you gather the courage to face your own true self. You sit on the stool, your face clean, your hair loose, a single thin chemise your only garment. The heavy layers of your identity, the velvet, the wool, the lead, the mercury, the tower of your hennin, have all been stripped away. You are left in a state of raw, shivering simplicity. The maids have cleared away the dirty cloths and the bowls of gray, greasy water. The fire in the hearth crackles softly. The room is quiet. Now, in the silence, you must face the final and most difficult judgment of the day, your own. With a hand that trembles slightly, you reach for the polished bronze mirror. Isabel holds it steady for you, her own face carefully neutral. You lean forward and look into the dim, coppery reflection, and you force yourself to truly see. For hours, you have inhabited the persona of a perfect, flawless, otherworldly creature. You have seen her serene golden reflection and felt the power that illusion commands. Now, the illusion is gone. The woman in the mirror is not the golden icon from before. It is you, and the sight of your own true face is a shock. The first thing you notice is the angry, blotchy redness. Your skin, which was a uniform and placid white all day, is now a chaotic map of irritation. It is red and inflamed from the harsh, repetitive scrubbing required to remove the lead paste. A hot, stinging sensation radiates from your cheeks and forehead. This is the immediate price of cleanliness. But your eyes, trained by a lifetime of critical self-assessment, look deeper. You lean closer to the dim reflection, searching for the damage you know is there. And you find it. On your chin, where this morning there was only a single tiny blemish you sought to hide, there are now two new ones, small, red, and angry. They are the direct result of the ceruse, the thick, pore-clogging paint that has suffocated your skin for 12 hours. The very cosmetic designed to create the illusion of flawless purity is in reality a factory for creating new flaws. This is the terrible, inescapable paradox of your life. To be beautiful, you must wear the lead. The lead damages your skin. To hide the damage, you must wear an even thicker layer of lead the next day. It is a vicious, ever-spiraling cycle of poison and deception. You are caught in a trap, and the trap is your own face. Your gaze travels upward, to the vast, bare expanse of your forehead. In the soft candlelight, the raw, red inflammation from the morning's plucking is still visible. Your skin is puffy and tender. It is the landscape of your daily pain, the battlefield where you rip your own body apart to conform to an ideal of serene intelligence. You trace the faint, almost invisible line at the corner of your eye with your fingertip. It is a tiny crease, a line that should not exist on the face of a girl your age. But you have seen this line deepen on your mother's face, on the faces of the other older ladies of the court. It is a strange, dry and brittle look to the skin. A mark left not by laughter or sorrow, but by the slow, corrosive touch of the poison you so dutifully apply every day. The lead is a harsh mistress. It gives you the appearance of perfection, and in exchange, it slowly, patiently drinks the life from your skin. You stare at this stranger in the mirror, this girl with the red, blotchy, and prematurely aging face. A profound and weary sense of grief washes over you. You remember faintly what your skin was like when you were a small child, before these rituals began. It was soft, healthy, dusted with the freckles from an afternoon spent chasing butterflies in the castle garden. You remember your mother's gentle scolding, her warning that the sun was the enemy of a lady's complexion. She was not just protecting your status, she was initiating you into a lifetime of war against your own nature, a war you now realize you can never win. You have sacrificed the healthy, living girl for the sake of the perfect, painted lady. But your grief is not the sharp, hot grief of rebellion. It is a cold, quiet, and deeply ingrained resignation. This is simply the price. It is the cost of being a noblewoman. It is the tax levied on your body for the privilege of your birth. There is no alternative. To appear at court as you are now, with your blotchy skin and your freckles and your actual hairline, would be an act of social suicide. You would be pitied, mocked, and ultimately deemed unworthy. Your value is not in your health or your happiness. It is in the perfection of the illusion you can create. Your life is a secret war fought here, in the privacy of your chamber, against the honesty of your own reflection. The world sees the flawless victory, the serene and perfect lady. Only you and your maids see the bloody, painful, and losing battles that are fought every single day to achieve it. You set the mirror down. The inspection is over. The damage has been assessed. Elsbeth steps forward with one final pot. This one is different. It contains a cool, pale green, and fragrant balm made from crushed cucumber, almond oil, and rose water. It is not a cosmetic. It is a medicine, an apology. She takes a small amount on her fingers and begins to gently apply it to your raw, irritated skin. The sensation is one of pure, blessed relief. The cool, soothing lotion calms the hot, stinging irritation. It is a moment of healing, a temporary truce in the war against your own face. It is the gentle hand that comes after the blow. You sit there, your eyes closed, as she applies the balm. You are no longer the painted idol, nor the red-faced victim. You are somewhere in between, a young woman tending to her wounds, preparing her damaged skin for the exact same poisonous assault that will inevitably come with the morning light. The cycle is unbreakable. The damage is cumulative, and the price of being a medieval beauty is a debt that you will pay slowly and painfully. Every single day for the rest of your life, you sit on the stool in the soft candlelight, your eyes closed, as the cool, soothing balm works its small magic on your raw and stinging skin. The deconstruction of your public self is nearly complete. The great tower of your hennin has been dismantled. Your hair has been uncaged and combed, and the poisonous, beautiful mask has been painstakingly scrubbed away. All that remains is the final prison, the heavy, layered, and deeply restrictive armor of your clothing. Elsbeth and Isabel, your two maids, move with the practiced efficiency of squires undressing a knight after a long and brutal tournament. This, too, is a kind of battle, and they are the only ones who see its true cost. They begin with the outermost layer, the magnificent hoopaland. You stand, and they work together to lift the immense weight of the brocaded silk velvet from your shoulders. As the gown is lifted away, the feeling is one of profound release, as if a great, heavy cloak of responsibility has been taken from you. You can feel your shoulders, which have been hunched forward under the weight for hours, instinctively trying to straighten. The gown, a river of blue and gold, is carefully folded and laid to rest in its great wooden chest. It is a weapon, now returned to the armory. Next comes the kirtle. You turn and present your back to Elsbeth. Her nimble fingers find the end of the long cord that has held you in its tight embrace all evening. She begins to unlace it. With each eyelet that is loosened, you feel a new wave of freedom. The rigid corset-like pressure on your ribs begins to subside. And then, as the last of the laces are undone, you do something you have not been able to do for more than 12 hours. You take a deep, full, and glorious breath. The air rushes into your lungs, expanding your chest with an almost painful sense of release. You had not realized until this moment how shallowly you had been breathing, how starved your body was for simple oxygen. It is an intoxicating, dizzying sensation. The woolen cage is unlocked. The maids help you shrug it off your shoulders, and you are left standing in the cool air in only your linen undergarments. Finally, the last vestiges of your public armor are removed. The hose, the garters. You are left standing in the center of the chamber in nothing but your thin, loose-fitting linen chemise. And for a brief, precious, and utterly private moment, you are free. Your hair, now combed and unbound, hangs loose and heavy down your back. Your face is bare, clean, and stinging, but it is your own. Your body, free from the crushing weight of velvet and the tight tyranny of the laces, can move again. You stretch your arms, you roll your shoulders, you take another deep, luxurious breath. These simple human movements, which are impossible when you are in your full regalia, feel like an ecstatic celebration. You run your fingers through your own loose hair, feeling a simple, profound pleasure. You can turn your head freely, without the weight and precarious balance of the hennin, dictating your every motion. You can feel the cool air of the chamber on your bare arms and legs, a sensation that is not a threat, but a simple, honest reality. You catch a glimpse of yourself in the dark, coppery surface of the bronze mirror. The reflection is dim, but it shows you the truth. The creature in the mirror is not the serene, otherworldly, painted icon from before. It is a young woman in a simple linen shift, her hair a wild dark mane, her face pale and unadorned. This is the real you, the person that no one outside of this chamber is ever permitted to see. She is a secret, kept locked away beneath layers of fabric and poison. This moment of naturalness, of simple bodily freedom, is the great hidden luxury of your life. It is more precious than any silk gown or any jewel, precisely because it is so fleeting. Your maids, their work of deconstruction complete, now begin the final preparations for the night. Elsbeth turns down the covers of the great curtained bed, the very same covers you so carefully built up hours ago. Isabel brings you your simple, high-collared sleeping gown of soft, worn linen. The moment of freedom is already ending. You slip the sleeping gown on. It is time to enter the final and most comfortable prison of the day. You walk to the bed, pull back the heavy curtain yourself, and slide into the deep, welcoming softness of the featherbed. You lie back in the darkness of the sealed cocoon. The sheets are cool now, but not cold. The bed is a soft, vast, and comfortable world, but there is no true peace to be found here. The brief, beautiful interlude of freedom is over. The memory of your own natural self is already beginning to fade, replaced by the weary, certain knowledge that the dawn will bring with it the same powders, the same poisons, the same tight laces, and the same heavy crown. You are a work of art that must be painstakingly destroyed every night, only to be just as painstakingly recreated every morning. You close your eyes, your body aching, your skin stinging. The cycle is endless, and you must be ready to begin it all again. And here, in the warm, dark, and lonely safety of her curtained bed, we leave her. A young woman who has survived another day's performance, another day of her beautiful, painful, and poisonous routine, ready to do it all again tomorrow. As her story fades, and we find ourselves back in the simple comfort of our own rooms, let us take a moment to appreciate the quiet, invisible luxuries of our own time. The luxury of clothes that are chosen for comfort, not just for status. The simple freedom of being able to laugh out loud without a second thought. The profound peace of being able to show the world your own true, unpainted face, should you choose to. The greatest luxury is not in the things we add to ourselves, but in the freedom to be ourselves. It is the quiet comfort of our own skin. It is the ability to rest, not as a heavily decorated idol, but as a simple, breathing human being. And now it is time to embrace that luxury. Time to be grateful for a rest that is free from the weight of velvet and the whisper of poison. Time to sleep.